like mourning women veiled to the feet. Tall, slender rainstorms walk slowly against gray cloud along the far verge. The ocean is green where the river empties, dull gray between the points of the headlands, purple where the women walk. What do they want? Whom are they mourning? What hero's dust in the urn between the two hands hidden in the veil? Titaness after Titaness proudly, bearing her tender, magnificent sorrow at her heart, the lost battle's beauty. Man, introverted man, having crossed in passage and but a little with nature of things this later century, has begot giants, but being taken up like a maniac with self-love and inward conflicts cannot manage his hybrids. Being used to deal with edgeless dreams, now he's bred knives on nature, turns them also inward. They have thirsty points, though. His mind forebodes his own destruction. Actaeon, who saw the goddess naked among leaves, and his hounds tore him. A little knowledge, a pebble from the shingle, a drop from the oceans. Who would have dreamed this infinitely little too much? Farther up the gorge, the sea's voice fainted and ceased. We heard a new noise, far away ahead of us, vague and metallic. It might have been some unpleasant bird's voice, bedded in a matrix of long silences. At length we came to a little cabin lost in the redwoods. An old man sat on a bench before the doorway, filing a cross-cut saw. Sometimes he slept, sometimes he filed. 2 or 3 horses in the corral by the stream side lifted their heads to watch us pass, but the old man did not. In the afternoon we returned the same way, and had the picture in our minds of magnificent regions of space and mountain not seen before. This was the first time that we visited Pigeon Gap, whence you look down behind the great shouldering pyramid edges of Pico Blanco through eagle gulfs of air to a forest basin where 200-foot redwoods looked like the pile on a Turkish carpet. With such extensions of the idol-worshipping mind, we came down the stream side. The old man was still at his post by the cabin doorway, but now stood up and stared, said angrily, "Where are you camping?" I said, "We're not camping, we're going home." He said, from his high-flushed, heavy face, "That's the way fires get started. Did you come at night?" "We passed you this morning. You were half asleep." Filing a saw. "I'll kill anybody that starts a fire here." His voice quavered into bewilderment. "I didn't see you. Kind of feeble, I guess. My temperature's 102 every afternoon." "Why, what's the matter?" He removed his hat and rather proudly showed us a deep-heeled trench in the bald skull. "My horse fell at the ford. I must have cracked my head on a rock. Well, sir, I can't remember anything till next morning. I woke in bed. The pillow was soaked with blood. The horse was in the corral and had had his hay." Singing the words as if he had told the story 100 times. To whom? To himself, probably. The saddle was on the rack and the bridle on the right nail. What do you think of that now? He passed his hand on his bewildered forehead and said, unless an angel or something came down and did it, a basin of blood and water by the creek, I must have washed myself. My wife said sharply, have you been to a doctor? Oh, yes, he said. My boy happened down. She said, you oughtn't to be alone here. Are you all alone here? No, he answered, horses. I've been all over the world. Right here is the most beautiful place in the world. I played the piccolo in ship's orchestras. We looked at the immense redwoods and dark fern-taken slip of land by the creek, where the horses were, and the yucca'd hillsides high in the sun, flaring like torches. I said, darkness comes early here. He answered with pride and joy, 285 days in the year the sun never gets in here. Like living under the sea, green all summer. Beautiful. My wife said, how do you know your temperature's 102, eh? The doctor. He said, the bone presses my brain. He's got to cut out a piece. I said, all right. You've got to wait till it rains. I've got to guard my place through the fire season, by God, he said joyously. The quail on my roof wake me up every morning. Then I look out the window, and a dozen deer drift up the canyon with the mist on their shoulders. Look in the dust at your feet, all the little hoof prints. The broken pillar of wing jags from the clotted shoulder. The wing trails like a banner in defeat. No more to use the sky forever, but live with famine and pain a few days. Cat nor coyote will shorten the week of waiting for death. There is game without talons. He stands under the oak bush and waits, the lame feet of salvation. At night he remembers freedom and flies in a dream. The dawns ruin it. He is strong, and pain is worse to the strong. Incapacity is worse. The curs of the day come and torment him at a distance. No one but death, the Redeemer, will humble that head. The intrepid readiness, the terrible eyes. The wild God of the world is sometimes merciful to those that ask mercy, not often to the arrogant. You do not know him, you communal people, or you have forgotten him. Intemperate and savage, the hawk remembers him. Beautiful and wild, the hawks, and men that are dying remember him. I'd sooner accept the penalties, kill a man than a hawk. But the great red-tail had nothing left but unable misery. From the bone too shattered for mending, the wing that trailed under his talons when he moved. We had fed him 6 weeks. I gave him freedom. He wandered over the foreland hill and returned in the evening, asking for death. Not like a beggar, still-eyed, with the old implacable arrogance. I gave him the lead gift in the twilight. What fell was relaxed, owl downy, soft feminine feathers. But what soared, the fierce rush, the night herons by the flooded river cried fear at its rising, before it was quite unsheathed from reality. I am not dead. I have only become inhuman. That is to say, undressed myself of laughable prides and infirmities, but not as a man undresses to creep into bed, but like an athlete, stripping for the race. The delicate ravel of nerves that made me a measurer of certain fictions, called good and evil, that made me contract with pain and expand with pleasure, fussily adjusted like a little electroscope, that's gone, it is true. I never miss it. If the universe does, how easily replaced. But all the rest is heightened, widened, set free. I admired the beauty while I was human. Now I am part of the beauty. I wander in the air, being mostly gas and water, and flow in the ocean, touch you and Asia at the same moment, have a hand in the sunrises and the glow of this grass. I left the light precipitate of ashes to earth for a love token.